Hello everyone, Giltar here with another review. This time it's of the high-grade Gundam Seed UT-1D Civilian Astray DSSD Custom. It's a model in the 1 to 144 scale range, and it's basically a mass production unit design. It's based off of the red frame. As you can see, its color schema with the red, white, gray, and black. And also some of the touches like the torso design really come off as, oh, it's an Astray mobile suit. I personally really like this design. I'm a big fan of mass production suits in terms of mobile suits and mecha in general. I really like mass production units. I'm a big fan of the GMs or GMs. I'm also a big fan of mobile suits like in Gundam 00, the GNX design. I like stuff like that. And the Tierran also, ground type and space type, are pretty neat to me. So yeah, moving on to this model, immediately you can see it looks like it's an airborne design. In fact, it's a space unit, so it's designed for use in outer space. On the back here you'll see these enclosures, these what kind of look like wings, but they're more like housings for directional thrusters. According to the information I found on the DSSD custom at mahq.net, this mobile suit uses an electromagnetic propulsion system. I think that this is actually what that is, rather than the satellite dish or satellite unit that some people think it might be, which, you know, it does look like something along those lines. I think this is probably the propulsion unit for, you know, the electromagnetic propulsion unit that is mentioned in the bio. I'll take this little part back here actually, because I want to reveal that it actually has a little antenna type unit, and I really like this touch because it's not something you would normally see, because normally this cap would be on, but I do appreciate the extra level of detail. It's something that it doesn't have to be implemented in the model, but it is there, so I like that, especially for the fact this is, you know, quote unquote only a high grade model, not master grade or anything like that. But I think, you know, high grades and master grades are just getting better and better, and as mentioned before by other reviewers, I hear this quite often by Robert184, where he sometimes remarks that, you know, the high grades are getting closer to master grades in terms of design, and master grades are getting closer to perfect grades. I think it's only natural that we see improvements in evolution in designs after several years. I mean, I think high grades have been around since the mid-90s, and master grades have been around since I think the late 90s. So I mean, it's only natural to see some progression. So that's pretty neat. This model actually comes with this action stand. It's really neat because rather than, like, not all models come with action stands, but this one does. And not only that, the action stand is pretty neat in that it has two slots, so you can put it in a more forward position if you wanted to, or in the rear position like I have it in. And this stand part can actually be removed. It can actually clip out. It goes sideways, but it's in there pretty snugly, so I'm going to leave it in. I've tried freeing it earlier and it felt like it was kind of stressing, so I'm going to leave that alone. Now actually, the sort of underside of the pelvis unit shows a port for the action stand or an action base. It comes with a little plastic, I guess, lid or cover to conceal it when you're not using it, so you can just clip it on and you won't have to look at that port if you look at the model from that angle. In terms of accessories, aside from the action stand, we have a beam saber with a knuckle bow, a knuckle guard, which is pretty unique, I think, in Gundam beam saber designs. A beam pistol, which is mostly gray with a white barrel or tip, and a white, looks like a little mini stock or something back there. I like the design of the pistol. It's pretty neat, pretty unique. Also comes with a shield, pretty standard, on its left arm. The peg that actually holds it in, rather than sort of a typical cylindrical peg, is like a flat rectangular design. I think that's pretty unique from my experience. The shield can rotate 360 degrees, and it just clips onto the back of the forearm here. There's a little rectangular slot. Now in terms of articulation, it's pretty standard for the feet. It can't go back and forth that much, but it has fairly significant maneuverability for side-to-side movements. And the ankle armor can go up and down just a little bit. And you can get the model about this far apart with its feet still sort of, I guess, flat the sole's flat on the surface, so it's not too bad. The leg mobility is a bit limited. It's, I would say, on par or just slightly below the usual standards for a high-grade kit, due to the front skirt moving up like that. And this front skirt and back skirts aren't big, so they don't get in the way. But just due to the way the legs are designed, it can only go that far ahead. So it's not terrible, but pretty standard, about a 90-degree bend. And then it can only go back about that far before it hits these maneuvering thruster housing units. The knees themselves have a pretty good bend, over 90 degrees. The side skirts are on ball joints, but they're so close to the body that they can't go out too far, but they can rotate a significant bit to get out of the way. So while they lack in the sort of sideways or horizontal positioning vertically, when they just rotate, they're very, very good for changing direction. And I think it looks kind of neat. The way that they're designed, they can add sort of a look of speed, or I guess motion, to the model, so that if you have it in an airborne pose with the legs up, and you have, like, if the skirts were just vertical like they would be normally in most models, it looks kind of boring. But in this, you can just angle them back and it looks more sort of, I guess, aerodynamic, or more like an aircraft. So I like that touch. The backpack actually is also semi mobile. It's sort of, it can swivel and it pegs into the back normally. And also these thruster housings are mobile. The topmost thruster is on a hinge, so it can swivel back and forth, but the bottom one is immobile, it's stationary. And these flaps can actually move in and go into these housing units to become completely flat. The waist is free to move 360 degrees. Normally the armor doesn't obstruct it, so that's nice. Not even this back sort of, this tail or stabilizer unit here doesn't get in the way. The arms are pretty standard. The hands rotate 360 degrees. They wiggle. The elbow goes just, I think, just above 90 degrees in terms of a bend. Fairly standard. It rotates just below the shoulder. I won't do it because it tends to get into the way of other things, but that's what you can see there. And like the Astray frame torso designs, we have shoulder units, these red hearts that can go up and down, wiggle back and forth a bit. The shoulders themselves can rotate 360 degrees, but the shoulder armor kind of gets in the way. The head can rotate 360 degrees, but due to the way that these shoulder parts sort of stick up a little bit, and then this chin strap here is a little extra material, sometimes it can get in the way and sort of hit against it. So while you can rotate the head 360 degrees, you just have to position everything pretty carefully in order to do so, but most of the time you don't need to do it. Now, one thing I do like about this model, aside from this hidden sort of design here, this antenna, is the way that you can actually remove the helmet. And I'll just pop off the head for this. If you remove the helmet and take away, like, the visor, this actually has a standard Gundam face. I don't know if my camera can focus, but yeah, that's pretty neat. I like that. You'll never see it, but again, it's an extra detail. They didn't have to put anything behind it, even though the visor material is just like this black, smoky, translucent plastic, and it's really hard to see through it. I mean, the fact that it's there, it's that extra level of detail that is in the design that doesn't have to be, but it's there. So I like that. And it's I guess value added in case you do want maybe mod the head and take away the visor. One thing I like about the helmet actually is it's got the visor and the single antenna, which gives off a very GM or GM vibe to it, because most of the traditional GM units have more of a visor face rather than a humanoid, eyes and nose type of face that most Gundams have. So that sort of is, I guess, a nod or a reference to the GM design. The kit comes with a bunch of foil stickers. I've applied many of them, except for the gray strips around the calves. They don't look very good, so I've removed them, and I'm going to just paint them instead. Comes with a bunch of marking seals that can go on, and unit designation numbers and such. And also the model itself, it uses no polycaps. It's all plastic joints. So mine's still pretty tight, but joints tend to pop off easily. So that's it for the review. I definitely recommend it. It comes around 1,500 yen or 15 American dollars. So yeah, if you have a chance, pick it up. Thanks for watching.